Welcome to our next edition of Culinary Bards. Thanks so much for watching. And if you're just joining us, welcome, and hit that subscribe button so you can see what's coming up next. So last weekend, I was up in New Hampshire and I stopped at this place for breakfast called the Parker's Maple Barn. Pretty amazing breakfast. Some of the best corned beef hash I've ever had. I love the pancakes. Still think Polly's Pancake Parlor is a little bit better, but that hash will bring me back every single time. And they had a root beer. They said it was their own, and I had to buy it. And I found out, and I've had this root beer before. It's actually made by this group called the Private Label Specialties. So I've had a few of their root beers before, but then now knowing it's the same root beer, but just under different labels. So silly me, but I love the label in this one, and I'm all about the label. So this is a good one. It has a little picture of the actual Parker Maple Barn. So a little bit about that company. So the Private Label Specialties started in 1992. And it was started by Ray Duhame, and they started off wanting to make spring water to kind of compete with Poland Springs. But then in 1992, later in that year, they wanted to revitalize the root beer market, because at that time no one was really making root beer, no one was really talking about root beer, and they thought that they had a good plan to like bring root beer to New England and the surrounding areas. So they worked with a chemist from New York. And they really thought about the flavors they remembered as a kid and loved. And they came up with this formula for root beer. And 3 years later, in 1995, Coke and Pepsi really started to try to like push and make root beer more popular. They put over $25 million, which is a lot of money back then, still is, into advertising and really bringing root beer back into the market. So that had their sales sparked and rose with that. And then ever since then, they've been, making root beers for specific the country stores, things like that. So you'll see, if you look on a lot of those places that say, like in the picture of their place in root beer, it's actually made by this company, a Private Label Specialties. And they're in Goffstown, New Hampshire. So here we go. I've had the root beer before. I had one when I went to Zeke's up in North Conway. It is a twist off, by the way. And in my shirt, it says, "I can tell your future, just look what's in your hand." So, and in my hand is a root beer, so I got some root beer tasting going on right now. And they said that their flavor, it's just, low in carbonation with a hint of wintergreen, not too sweet. So I like a little bit more carbonation in mine, but we'll see. Right off the bat, you can definitely get that wintergreen smell off of it. And there's a decent amount of carbonation, but not too much for sure. You can see there's not much of a head, but it's still there. It's not flat. Not flat at all. Let's see. Cheers to Parker's House. It's good. It's creamy. It's definitely, I definitely get that wintergreen. I'd say the mouthfeel, I like a little bit more carbonation in my root beer. So it's not my favorite, but I still like it. I definitely like the flavor. I do like that it's not too sweet. I think that they came up with something great with that. The wintergreen isn't overpowering. It's just a hint. So I was kind of worried that the smell might be overpowering. This is better than most I've had. I'm gonna give it, it's a local product too. I'm gonna give it a 9.2, because that's when it started, 1992, and it's better than most, but not on that top tier yet, not on the high nines, but it's a really good root beer. So, maybe look next time you go to a specialty store and say the root beer, see if it's made by this company. So awesome job. So Parker's House root beer, made by Private Label Specialties, 9.2. Cheers.